Hello, hello, hello. You are here with Dave Jose. And guys, I wanted to come drop some important information and knowledge on you. Guys, I'm going to tell you that right now, today, you're seeing an unraveling of the government powers that be that were allowing for agencies and attorneys and different entities to take charge of the people. Why? The reason is because the people have stood up, went back to the old law that deals with how things were put into place at the beginning of our constitutions, and we are standing on our power. Now, for a long time, guys, attorneys and people taught by attorneys, or people who were in power in legislative positions, judicial positions, etc., they were trained by attorneys that they had the power to write the law for the people, and then they were also trained that they could take rights from the people using special process that the Supreme Court doesn't agree with as of now, because the people have awakened to the truth. So what you're going to find is that there's a lot of people in the law world who will teach things based on the misconceptions of attorneys. Now, I'm going to do this because I seen a post by one of our beloved legislative body members, which is getting this information from a gentleman named Dan Itse, who was a legislator in New Hampshire about 18 years ago. He is said to be a scholar, but he misses a lot of fundamental principles. So I'm going to make this video short and sweet to break down the information to you, for you to understand, to see the error that lies when a person tries to accomplish or do things this way. Another thing I'm going to do is openly challenge Daniel Itse to come live and have a debate with me over the people's rights, the people's power, based on the constitutions of the state of New Hampshire or any other state, and see if he can speak these things in a meaningful way and show in the law where these powers are held. Now, remember, the battle is between attorneys and bureaucrats and government officials who wanted to take power away from the people, and the real law, the fundamental law, the state constitutions and the maxims that show that they can't do that. So I'm going to open up the law now and break this down to you so you can see it and we can forever clear this up. Let's dig in. Okay, guys, so what I'm going to do, this is a Facebook post from our beloved representative Leah Cushman, who is powerful and mighty. And she has a friend named Daniel Itse. He's the guy who was said to be a scholar. I've had discussions with him, and I see that he misses the mark on so many things. But there was some text above this. She says, from my dear friend Daniel Itse. So it looks like it's going to be below that he's saying, but I'm not sure. But still, I'm going to show you why the information and the knowledge is off the mark, is really dangerous to America. It says, while Great Britain held that English common law did not stand in the American colonies, the Americans did, which is why they were so upset by general warrants and quartering of troops. Maxim, a man's home is his castle. Now, guys, let me help you understand something. I'm going to show you where Mr. Itse is confused because he doesn't understand the implications that come from being in England under a king and having a legislature that's writing statute for the people, and being in America where we have legislative body members that are our servants, and all they do is handle our business. They don't write legislation over our rights and property. Now, let me help you understand so you see where he messes up. He says, William, in brackets, Blackstone describes the law of the land as all the laws, common, statutory, and local. Now, that's great, because the issue is that in a place where the government writes statutes for you to follow and statutes to govern your rights, property, and liberty, that's cool, because they would have put things in statute over time to protect those rights and property. Now, he makes an error, though, because he goes into the New Hampshire Constitution, which is American common law, which does certain things, and I'm going to prove it to you by the text. So watch this. It says, New Hampshire State Constitution, Part 2, Article 90, in brackets. Notice his use of brackets and parentheses. He says, all the laws which have heretofore been adopted. And then he puts statutes in the text. Now, guys, I want you to understand that parentheses and statutes does not exist in the Constitution of New Hampshire, he put that there. It says used and approved in the province, colony, English common law. That doesn't exist there. Or state of New Hampshire, 1776 to 1792, and usually practiced in the courts of law. Then he put common law courts. Now let me help you understand how ignorant it is. He doesn't understand that the courts of common law don't move by statutes. And then he doesn't understand that when you look at the Constitution of New Hampshire, it exists before any statutes or codes exist. If a court of record does not move, or the court of law, does not move by anything but the common law, the statutes wouldn't apply anyway. So he says, shall remain and be in full force until altered and repealed by the legislature. Then he put by statute. Now, guys, understand, the legislature can't get rid of the common law. They can't write common law, but it talks about the courts which move by the common law, right? So if you have courts moving by common law, there's no statutes and codes, and the legislature in America can't write anything that is common law, then he's failing to understand that the New Hampshire Constitution stands by itself as the power, and the laws, understand this, that were adopted. Understand that there's laws that's going to have to do with things that have nothing to do with your rights, your property, and liberty. Those are okay to exist because in our constitutions, we never allow for us to have a king. We never allow for people to write legislation over our power. We turn them into servants. We flip things backwards. Blackstone would have seen things where in England, you would have all these statutes and laws and different things that everybody had to follow because that's their system. But I'm going to prove to you what I'm saying and that this man is wrong. Now, it says such parts thereof only accepted as are repugnant to the rights and liberties contained in this Constitution. Now, guys, let me help you understand. It does not put the English common law into force in our courts. It doesn't. All it does is allow for the English common law to exist that does not go against the Constitution of the state. Anything in the old law, the English law, that goes against or is repugnant to the rights and liberties of the people is automatically blocked from entering into the law. Now, he's messing up because he wishes to express that the legislature has the power to write laws for the people, but he doesn't really understand the law. I'm going to prove it to you. See, the rights and liberties in the Constitution deal with the Bills of Rights. He doesn't understand how the Bills of Rights really work. The way that the Bill of Rights really works is that the Bill of Rights block legislative interference with anything that the people reserve to themselves as rights and power. Now, if you don't believe me, I'll take you to Texas Constitution to show you more clearly. Okay, guys, so to help you understand this concept, I'm taking you to Texas Constitution, Bill of Rights, Section 29. Now, watch this. This is going to deal with the idea of something being accepted. Provisions of Bill of Rights accepted from the powers of government to forever remain inviolate. In other words, guys, what we're dealing with is the idea that anything in the Bills of Rights of a state is withheld from the government, is accepted out of their general powers, meaning they can't even write a bill or a rule or deal with it at all. Okay? So let's look at how this works. So when you give government power to do certain things, you're giving them power over some of the business and some of the affairs, like keeping your marriage license, like picking up the trash and all these different things, right? but you are not giving them power to rule over you or to interfere with your rights. And this is where Daniel Itse is making a huge error. Watch this. To guard against transgressions of the high powers herein delegated, we declare that everything in this Bill of Rights is accepted out of the general powers of government and shall forever remain inviolate, and all laws contrary thereto or to the following provisions shall be void. Guys, understand what this means is that the government cannot make any law that goes against any rights that are in the Bill of Rights. Okay, guys, so now that we see this a little bit more clearly, the government doesn't have the power to bring in any foreign law that goes against our rights, because our rights are fundamental. The state constitution that we create now, or that New Hampshire created, it's fundamental. So when a servant comes in and swears to that constitution, you can't say that you don't have the right to interfere with my rights, but then say out the other side of your mouth that you have the power to write statute over my rights. It is crazy. This is usually done by people who are making power grabs, or in the past have made power grabs against the people, and they don't want to let go of that power. But let's look at the Black's Law Fifth definition of accept so we can understand what it really means, just to be sure. Black's Law definition: accept, but for, only for, not including, other than, otherwise, to leave out of account for or consideration. Okay, guys, so it is to leave something out of the power of government. So in other words, when people try to tell us that common law is the ability for legislators also to write something that would affect our rights in America, that's a hoax. I'll prove it to you. Let's look at the definition of common law itself. Now here's Black's Law Fifth. We really need to see the beginning. Common law, as distinguished from law created by the enactment of legislatures. In other words, the legislatures can't write it. Watch this. The common law comprises the body of those principles and rules of action relating to the government and security of persons and property which derive their authority solely from usages and customs of immemorial antiquity. It goes on to explain about the judgments from judges who confirm or reaffirm what the people already said. The common law, or foundational law, guys, comes from the people. It is written by the people when we open up or create constitutions, and the government doesn't get to change those rights. Black's Law Fifth, constitutional right. Let's see if I'm right. A right guaranteed to the citizens by the Constitution, and so guaranteed as to prevent legislative interference therewith. So they can't even write anything to go against our rights, guys. It's impossible. Now, guys, this gentleman in the circled red text says William Blackstone describes the law of the land as all the laws, common, statutory, and local. Guys, this is dumb. Let me help you understand why. The people of England had to stand up and tell the king that he was wrong for attacking them, their rights and property. This is why the common law was shown to be separate from the government when the people stood up to stop the king from attacking them by force. Now, guys, this is so deep because if you just go down and look a little further in the text, you'll see where the New Hampshire Constitution tells in Article 90, such parts thereof only accepted as are repugnant to the rights and liberty contained in this Constitution. So none of the statutory fiat, and remember the Declaration of Independence, guys, the people had to tell England that they were writing pretended legislation. So if you believe that the people of America thought that all the legislation of England was legit, you gotta be crazy. That's why we divorced the king and we no longer have one. There is no group of men making laws to govern the people of America. We are free by Jesus Christ and free indeed. Don't believe the hoax, y'all. If the gentleman wants to debate me live, we could get that action in any day of the week. Let's go. Okay, guys, I say these things in love. I have to deal with the truth. I have to make sure that the people understand I can't allow for people who are trained in attorney type nonsense to come out with information that would hurt the people. We got too many good legislative body members who are correcting bad behavior, too many people as the people who are winning and victorious. So I open the door for Dan Itse any day of the week, anytime you want it, to come debate me about this issue. You bring your facts, I'll bring the law, I'll bring my facts, and we'll see where it goes. But love you guys. Y'all stay out of trouble. Share this video everywhere. Peace.